What's going on, everybody? ZyoniK here. In today's video, we are diving back into the Fantasy Cup with another strong team. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, the Fantasy Cup is a very limited meta, and one of the Pokemon that I latch onto every time I see this cup is Flygon. I had a team with it yesterday. Today, it is a different team. But what I saw is there was a lot of Escavaliers that I couldn't really handle that well, which is why we're adding on the Firefang Mawile there and having the core being Ferrothorn and Mawile, which is actually pretty nice. And then the Flygon is going to be our safe swap. The whole goal is to draw out Azumarill. If we lose lead, that way Firefang Mawile has a better chance to sweep the end game, or if we hard win lead, make sure we maintain that positive switch advantage, and obviously Escavaliers will get shredded by Mawile if we run into it. So hope you guys enjoy. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Ferrothorn versus Mawile. This is obviously really bad lead for us, so we're going to go ahead and go into that Flygon right away to get ahead on energy, and they do throw in an Azumarill, which is exactly what we want. Azumarill is a Pokemon that Flygon can actually handle. I know Flygon is Ground Dragon, we're facing a Water Fairy, but the rate at which Flygon can unleash these charge moves, Azumarill has a tough time keeping up. Now they do have Ice Beam, which is a bit better for them. If they're running the Play Rough Hydro Pump, they'd definitely be having a really bad time facing off against me. And our whole goal here is to try to get switch advantage. We do get a shield and we do get the attack drop as well, but this Flygon should be able to outpace here, as I'm gonna be able to double shield, stopping this Ice Beam, and we should be able to get to another Scorching Sands in time because of the timings of throwing my Scorching Sands, right? So if they decide to shield, which they don't, they let it go, boom, down it goes. We just got switch advantage, and in comes a Galarian Weezing, which is good as well because we're going to be doing super effective damage with Scorching Sands. Now the tough thing is, a tough thing will be is if they get the full farm down, but they don't, because Flygon is an absolute monster in this meta. Scorching Sands, boom, takes out the Weezing. We swap into the Mirror right away, and we're going to be looking to go for Power Up Punch just to get the boost. Now they're going to get it as well, so this is actually going to be a pretty scary end game. I think we should be able to basically KO each other at the same time. It's going to be really close, but let's see what happens. Yep, we get it. Perfect. So we had in that game Azumarill into Flygon on the safe swap, and we also had Mawile on the lead. We were able to handle it. Good battle. Alright, moving to the next one, we have Azumarill and a Lucario. So this is where this is very important. With the Azumarill lead, we obviously Ferrothorn hard walls it. When you see a Flygon or a Lucario swap in, you don't want to bring that Mawile in because odds are they have Escavalier in the back. It's just something I've noticed when it comes to Azumarill. Usually the Escavalier is the safe swap, but in this case it's going to be the Lucario. So we're going to go ahead and shield. Most Lucarios are running with the Blaze Kick, but this one decided to throw Close Combat, which is actually a lot better for us because now Dragon Claw here is going to be able to KO. With the added debuff and the glassy defenses there, boom, we KO it with a Dragon Claw. And now we might just be able to get 2 Scorching Sands off against this Azumarill. Now on the flip side, had they safe swapped with Escavalier, you bring in the Mawile. The only way this matchup really gets dicey with Flygon against Lucario is if they have Power Up Punch. That's where things could get a little crazy because you're just taking so much neutral damage. And we're just going to go ahead and go for a Dragon Claw here. I don't think I survived long enough to get to the next Scorching Sand, so we're just going to go ahead and get the guaranteed chip damage. And then we might have, I don't know. We're going to go ahead and come in with the Ferrothorn, and there's the Escavalier. Mawile just absolutely shreds Escavalier, and this is why I built this team, is because what I have been seeing when a meta is so dense based on the amount of viable Pokemon that are being used or can be used, teams get very common. Pokemon become very common, and it's Azumarill's one of them, Escavalier's one of them, Steels are all over the place, and then Flygon's as well. So good game. We're going to go ahead and take that one. Alright, moving to the next one, Ferrothorn versus Flygon here on the lead. Flygon's obviously a very deadly Pokemon, but we can do a lot of neutral damage to it with Power Whip. Now, I am concerned that there might be an Azumarill in the back, but they actually safe swapped the Registeel here to catch the charge move. So we're going to go ahead and come in with our own Flygon, as we should be able to do quite a bit of damage and come out of here with a lot of energy. Now, in hindsight, I shouldn't be throwing the Scorching Sands right away, because I want to come out of here with max energy. So, excuse me, sorry, throwing Scorching Sands was a bad idea. I should have waited for them to throw their charge move, shielded, and just kept loading up, and then thrown. But at least we have a Dragon Claw ready to go for their Flygon, and we're going to need it in order to potentially KO. Now, what's cool about this matchup is if both Flygons are just normal, so none of them are Shadow, at this health range, a Dragon Claw won't KO. So we're going to go ahead and let this go. This is going to allow us to get to another one in time, but they swap into Galarian Stunfisk. So now I have to bring the Mawile in order to do quite a bit of damage, but I'm going to load back up with Dragon Claw and then swap into Mawile. They decided to throw right away. Maybe we caught the charge move and they were trying to KO. But I think that was a bit late, but they're just going to go ahead and go for Rock Slides, which I guess is fine by me. All this extra health, and they're deciding to throw in Rock Slides, so that's totally fine. All this extra chip health that I can do with Fire Fang and not having to shield is huge, a huge advantage for me. So we're going to go ahead and go for Power Up Punch here. This should, well, it's actually probably not going to be enough to KO, but it should boost us enough so that we can fast move down. But they throw the next Rock Slide, which is totally fine. Remember, we still have our Flygon with a Dragon Claw, and we still have our Ferrothorn. So we're going to go ahead and come in with Ferrothorn. They're going to look to go for Scorching Sands here, which is totally fine. It's not going to be enough to KO. We're going to go ahead and swap into our own Flygon and try to go for the double Dragon Claw in order to win this game. So that's looking to be a good game. They do decide to shield. I don't get to the next one in time. Uh-oh. This is now somewhat dangerous. I'm going to go ahead and shield, just making sure, because it is just going to be a bait, which is fine, but we do get to the Power Whip in time, and this is why the Escavalier, or not the Escavalier, sorry, the Ferrothorn here is such a good Pokemon in this meta. Boom! It it does a lot of damage to Flygons, to Azumarills. It walls Azumarills. It's beautiful. Alright, moving to the next one, we got Slurpuff here, and this is a dicey one. This is a Pokemon that can Core Break. It's a fairy that has access to Flamethrower, and that is a pretty deadly combination for my team, so I'm going to look to leverage that and Blind Faith swap. We got it. We got the Flamethrower. That is huge. That is huge. The fact that we catch that resisted charge move, they swap in Azumarill as well. And we are so far ahead on energy. This is looking to be a very good situation because Azumarill and Slurpuff, the odds are, if 3 fairies, there could be, right? But at least Azumarill is one of the only common ones that's going to be resisting Fire Fang. There could be a Tapu Fini as well. But we do get to the Dragon Claw here in time just to put some extra added pressure. A Flygon with energy is the deadliest thing in this meta. And we get a shield. So against Azumarill, we get shield advantage, which is going to allow our Ferrothorn now to come in and farm down to have plenty of energy for the Slurpuff. And this is looking pretty good. Now, they're going to decide to counter swap and throw the Flamethrower here, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield. This is perfectly safe to do. And the Azumarill in the back as well doesn't have that much health, so a Fire Fang Mawile could handle it if we need to. As Power Whip, boom, KOs the Slurpuff. Now we get to see what their final Pokemon is. It's going to be a Lucario, so Mawile is going to shred that apart. Remember, Mawile is Fairy Steel, so we only take neutral from counter, which is a really big deal for this meta, as Escavalier and Lucario are the 2 common counter users, and you can shred them apart with Fire Fang, and that is going to be a good game, as Azumarill right here is going to try its best to take us out, but Ice Beam is not going to be enough, and we will be able to fast move down. That's going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next one, we have Ferrothorn versus Alolan Sandslash. This is another Pokemon that's kind of dicey to deal with. We're going to come in with a Mawile right away instead. We do draw out Azumarill, but when it comes to shield advantage later on, the Flygon can do potentially very well against Alolan Sandslash. Especially if they're running Shadow Claw, which I think most are in this meta, just given how many Azumarills there are and how many Steels there are. As we go ahead and let the Hydro Pump go through, we're going to come in with Ferrothorn now, and look to get a lot of energy here. We want to try to have a Thunder ready to go on the back end, if we can. And then the charge moves here from Azumarill, everything's resisted, so we don't need to worry too much. And even if they do get to 2 Hydro Pumps and get us like in the yellow and low, this is totally fine. But they decide to swap into Sandslash, and it is Shadow Claw, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Thunder right away. And then we're going to look to go into Flygon after we soak this charge move. The Ice Punch is only neutral, so we should be able to survive. Banking our Power Whip, we go ahead and go into Flygon and start getting ahead on energy. And this is where this is very advantageous for a Flygon, is the 2-to-1s, basically even energy, and a Shadow Claw there instead of Powder Snow. Now, some Alolan Sandslashes could be running Powder Snow, and you could just have a really bad time. That might happen. But they also wouldn't be doing as well against some of the other Pokemon. Boom, we take down the Sandslash. They bring in a Flygon. So now our Flygon, being so far ahead on energy, has a huge advantage in this matchup as we go ahead and go for 1 Dragon Claw. We're going to look to go for 2. I am sadly within KO range of a Dragon Claw here, so we need to be very careful. The Azumarill as well has energy, and my Ferrothorn has a Power Whip. So we're going to go ahead and try to they swap into Azumarill to catch the charge move, and I'm going to make a slight mistake right here. You guys are going to see it. It's very important. Very important. This has happened probably to everyone who is watching this right now. When you store your energy, like I did on Ferrothorn, you got to make sure you know where your charge move is that has it. Because what you guys are going to see, you can see the clicks, the little circles down there. Watch where I click. I'm going to swap. I click, look at the circle. I click on Thunder when I could have gotten the Power Whip, because they're in the middle of doing a Mud Shot. This was a free catch, and I did a fast move instead. So unfortunately for me, this Flygon is going to get the sweep flex on me. I will not be able to get to that Dragon Claw in time, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So I set myself up for success here, but just fumbled it, which is, it's going to happen sometimes. So good game. Alright, moving into the next one, Stunfisk on the lead. This is somewhat okay, but I'm going to go into Flygon right away. And they actually bring in a Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash. So I mentioned this earlier, that this is the dicey one. Now thankfully we can get to Scorching Sands just right away and get a shield from them. They're also deciding to, I thought they were about to commit to the farm down. So I'm going to go ahead and look to shield here, as I think I can survive the next Powder Snow, which I do. And I can get ourselves switch advantage with this Scorching Sands, or the 1-0 shield advantage. So we do get the 1-0. Now, if they have an Azumarill in the back, I think Ferrothorn could still win. So we're going to bring in the Mawile here to fast move down. Now, unfortunately, actually, I think it was just 1 shy, so I decided to let it go, and thankfully it was just an Ice Punch. So fortunately, it wasn't a drill run, and they do decide to bring in Galarian Stunfisk. So now I'm thinking like, whoa, what is this team? What could it possibly be in the back that they are so fearful? And I'm dreading that it's an Escavalier. And I'm kind of in a lose-lose situation. If I stay in and they get a shield bait there, I lose because they might get to the Earthquake in time. If I swap and it is an Escavalier, they just fast move me down, or if it's a Lucario, they just fast move me down, and unfortunately they survive with 1 HP and a Dream. So we get to find out what is going to be in the back. Boom, down we go. We come in, and it's a Ferrothorn mirror. Ladies and gentlemen, battlers of all ages, we are off to the races right here, and there is only one win con available to us. It is our win con, and it is also their win con. So we're going to go ahead and go for Thunders. The formula here in order to win is 2 Thunders, 2 Power Whips. So that's what we're going to look to do. Just because of how the energy lines up with the health. So we're going to go ahead and go for our double Thunder. We're going to make sure we try to not CMP tie them because the game might come down to CMP tie here at the end. And I have a pretty bad PvP IV, which means I might win CMP tie. So now their win con is catching a charge move and my lose con is throwing. But they catch the fast move instead, which is huge. We've done 2 Thunders now, which means we need to do 2 Power Whips. And you guys are going to see why. Power Whip does less damage, but Thunder, 3 Thunders, is not enough to KO. As you guys will see, it is now a race to get to the next charge move, and thankfully I got that extra fast move in against Galarian Stunfisk, and I went for Power Whip, which means I'm going to get the second Power Whip in time. Boom, down they go. That is going to be a good game, very well played. So able to recover there. Alright, moving to the next one. We got another Flygon here on the lead. Can be a tough Pokemon to deal with. It's obviously my favorite Pokemon to use in this meta, so you gotta respect what it's capable of, right? So we're gonna go ahead and let this go through. It is gonna be Scorching Sands. We're gonna look to go for the Power Whip here. This does quite a bit of damage, as you guys have seen already, so we gotta see how they decide to play it. They're gonna no shield, so I'm gonna swap into Flygon, hoping to draw out any Azumarills, but they decide to stay in, which gives me a free Dragon Claw right here, a free shield from my opponent, which we do get, and I'm okay giving up a shield here as well to maintain a lot of health here on my Flygon, as they will decide to throw that Dragon Claw. Now they swap in their own Ferrothorn here, and this is very interesting because I'm thinking maybe it's a Registeel, and it's maybe Double Steel, obviously, is what I'm thinking. And unfortunately, if it's Registeel, that can be very dicey for Mawile to deal with because of Focus Blast. So I'm going to go ahead and look to keep my Flygon alive if I can. And I really want to swap back in to the to my own Ferrothorn, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that in time. So I will survive, and I'm going to swap into Mawile instead to get the fast move down. And then we will see their Flygon is extremely low, and since I have Power Up Punch right here, they're going to be forced to shield, otherwise they get fast move down, so they do shield. We still have our own Flygon with a lot of energy, and I'm praying that it's Registeel in the back, because double Scorching Sands should be able to take care of it. Boom, down we go, and here we go. We got to come in with Ferrothorn in order to potentially win, but it's a Lucario in the back. That is not what I was hoping for. Click on Scorching Sands right away. This has to KO, and now it's going to be a race between Mudshot against my opponent. Boom! Down goes the Lucario. Here we go. We get to the Dragon Claw in time with just a little bit of health, and that game was very calm for a while and then got crazy really quick. So good game to my opponent. Alright, moving to the next one. We have Dedenne here on the lead. We can handle it pretty well. They swap into Galarian Stunfisk, so we're going to bring in that Flygon. And this is another situation where Flygon with energy is going to be so deadly for them to potentially handle because of what they had on the lead and what their safe swap was. So this is a tell that maybe it is a double steel team, and if it is, that means they're going to be triple weak to Scorching Sands. So since they decided to no shield there, I'm going to commit the double shield to maintain switch and just get max energy on this Flygon, because I think it can go a lot of places if my read is correct. Even if it's a Azumarill in the back, we should be able to get 3 Scorching Sands off. So let's see what decides to come in. It's going to be the Dedenne. So perfect. We're going to go ahead and go for the Scorching Sands right away. Just apply that pressure. boom, that lands. They decided to no shield and they swap, and it's actually a Haxorus in the back, and this Haxorus has the fast move of counter, which is actually going to be good for the Flygon because now I'm going to be able to unleash Dragon Claws here. And this is the dangerous thing, is should I try to bail out and catch the charge move on Mawile? I could swap, but I didn't. I thought I could get there in time. Maybe they're going to try to commit to the farm down. And now this game went from me dominating it to me potentially losing. So we're going to come in with Mawile right here. And the reason being is we should be able to resist everything. Night Slash, Surf, Breaking, Swipe. It is going to, or not the Surf. We don't resist Surf, sorry. But we resist, or we take neutral damage from counter. Now, Power Up Punch as well is going to do a decent amount of chip damage. We're going to be able to get a couple more fast moves in. We're going to have the Ferrothorn come in and load up on energy, and then the Dedenne in the back also I don't think has a charge move. It's only done maybe 2 fast moves, maybe 1. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Power Whip right away, and that is going to be a good game, very well played, as Ferrothorn should be able to fast move down the Haxorus as well. So good battle right there. Cool team by my opponent as well. Alright, moving to the next one. Registeel on the lead. Alright, we got 2 good answers in the back, so we're going to come in with the Flygon right away. Typically, Azumarill swap in, and there is the Azumarill. Now, this is a situation where you don't want to go for hard switch. I know we've seen before where I go for that hard switch, but the reason being that we don't do it on this one is because Registeel can destroy the team if we give up shields. So we have to trust that Azumarill is the best answer. Boom! To our Mawile. So we're going to play to that. We're going to give our Mawile basically 2 shields here in order to potentially shred through. Now they could have something like Flygon in the back, and then maybe it's just all over. But we're gonna gamble here that our Mawile could do pretty well. Now we're going to go ahead and go for Power Whip, and we're also going to undercharge it. The reason being is I want to have energy on the back end instead of more health, so that I can easily go for a Thunder and whatever else I need later on in this fight as we let the Ice Beam go through. So we have a good amount of energy here. We're going to see that Registeel come in most likely. Let's see here. Yep, Registeel comes in. We're going to go ahead and go for that Thunder. This is actually a decent amount of neutral damage. And then we're going to unleash the Mawile. Just let it rip. And they are deciding to stay in. So this is a good situation for us. If they had an answer from Mawile, they was swapped out already. So we're going to go ahead and shield. It is going to be Zap Cannon, unfortunately. And it's an Escavalier in the back. Mawile has been saving me all day long, completely shredding apart Steel-type teams, and this is going to be a good game as Mawile is going to take everyone down, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. That was the final battle. So this team obviously puts in some work, and I think the reason why this team puts in so much work is because of what is so common. Steals are common, multiple steals, sometimes 3 steals are common, at least 1, mostly 2, and Mawile and Flygon handle those really well. Now, with a Flygon safe swap, that Ferrothorn locks down the Azumarills that can't help but come in against it, right? Because when you have a Ferrothorn lead and you swap out, you obviously want the Azumarill to fight the Flygon so that it doesn't have to fight Ferrothorn later on, right? And then because of that, Mawile is free, and it's just a game of odds. With all the Lucarios and Escavaliers that I've seen, Galarian, Stunfisk, Registeel, Mawile shreds through them. This team was a lot of fun. Obviously, Turtonator might be pretty hard, but it wasn't common from what I saw. Yeah, just a give and take there, I guess. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.